Hello, hello. Dear colleagues, distinguished speakers, guests, and participants of the conference. Okay, I try to make my voice higher. So it's both an honor and a great pleasure to open today's plenary session of the 24th International Conference on Information Technologies and Management, IT&M 2025. The theme of this year's plenary session, Innovations and Trends in Modern Education, has not been chosen by chance because the rapid changes in our society, ongoing development of technology, and increasing presence of AI technologies in our daily lives urge all us to think and improve how we teach and how we learn. Education has become a continuous process, a lifetime process, and it must be modern, flexible, and open to change. Today, more than ever, it is essential that we talk about education, because only through an active dialogue and collaboration we can create an educational environment which meets the needs of both society and labor market nowadays and in the future. Artificial intelligence is transforming not only how we learn, but also how we work. This means that learning must remain relevant, not just for students and pupils, but also for professionals who must be able to adapt, reskill, and think ahead in a rapidly evolving world. Today's plenary session offers a diverse and valuable perspective on education in this new context. We are honored to welcome our outstanding speakers. Please welcome Dr. Claudio Riviera, Director of Academic Affairs at Riga Business School, who will speak about humanizing the innovation process and preserving human values in an age of technology. Please, applause. Dr. Nelly Abramishvili will present a comparative study of the IB, A-level, and US education systems, highlighting their respective strengths and differences. Associated Professor Dr. Lydia Kraujaliene from Mykolas Romeris University will introduce a digital model for evaluating organizational development for executives, showing us that leaders too must continuously learn and grow. Baiba Apkalna, process manager at ISMA Enterprise, will invite us to explore the future of learning, where technology, pedagogy, and human connection converge. Liga Valaina, HR business partner at Swisscom, will speak on the growing demand for cross-disciplinary skills in Latvia's job market, a topic closely linked to how well our education system prepares future talents. Igor Raevs, Member of Parliament and Preliminary Secretary of the Ministry of the Interior, will provide insight into the use of AI in public institutions, including the challenges and opportunities to come up with. And finally, Raitis Savelis will close the session with a strategic perspective on how AI education can be integrated into Latvian schools with a view towards innovation, competitiveness, and national security. These presentations will not only inform, but also inspire, we hope so. They will encourage us to reflect on the kind of education we want to build and how we, from academia, public institutions, and industry, can collaborate to make it a reality. I wish all of us throughout this conference to discover the new ways to collaborate, to find inspiration, and shape a shared future where knowledge, technology, and experience form the foundation for sustainable development. Thank you all for being here. It is now my honor to officially open the IT&M 2025 plenary session. Let the conversation begin. And it's time to welcome, to open the plenary session. I invite the rector of ISMA, Professor Denis Diakons.
Hello, hello. So good afternoon, everyone. So today we are kicking off with our 24th International Conference, Information Technologies and Management. And I am truly glad to see you all here. We have a really interesting cast of participants today. We have highly distinguished speakers and highly honorable guests from different countries and different organizations. We have representatives of students of the university, of school students, and we also have part of people joining us online. I am pleased to welcome you all at our conference, and I'm very grateful for your valuable input in this event. So today, I mean not even today, but within these 2 days, we are going to cover extremely relevant, or even, I would say, crucial topics for modern life, modern educational life. And thus I would like to encourage the audience to be active, to ask questions, participate in discussions, which hopefully would lead to new opportunities, new discoveries, new projects and collaborations. So, I wish us all a fruitful conference, joyful 2 days together, and let's get it started.
Thank you, Dennis. So it's time to welcome the thought leaders of today, speakers who will share their vision on education and professional development in the age of technology. After each presentation, participants will have the opportunity to ask questions. For those joining us online, please prepare your questions during each speaker's presentation and write them on the comment session. And our first speaker is Dr. Claudio Rivera, Director of Academic Affairs at Riga Business School. Please welcome.
Is it green? Yeah, it works. Good. Good afternoon, and thank you so much for the invitation for this event, and congratulations on this new conference. And I will try to share some ideas that I hope some of them might be useful, that you might take it for the next hours and days of the conference. And it's basically about some of the things I've been thinking and other colleagues have been thinking about where universities are today, where universities should be in the future, what changes should happen. And this is the picture of the Riga Technical University campus in Chipsala. I don't put it as an advertisement, but just simply because I think it's a symbol of where universities should go, that is the university connected to the city, right? So you have the bridges, so university that is connected to the society. And this is the core of my message today, that is, university has been for a long time all around the world, and this has been part of the Industrial Revolution. They have been self-contained systems, right? So we created universities that are very protected, professors, we are protected, the students are protected, but we have made that protected system very close to the society. There was one scholar from Oxford in the 19th century that his name was John Henry Newman. He was a scholar, he was a theologian as well. And he actually wrote a book that has been very influential on what universities are and should be. He was not a good administrator, by the way, because he established a university and it didn't went well, but he wrote well about university. And he said an idea that after I will put it in more complete sentence, he said, the university is a place where inquiry is pushed forward, discovery is verified and perfected, where error is exposed by the collision of mind with mind and knowledge with knowledge. So at the end of the day, universities should be places where there is, as already was said today in the beginning, there should be dialogue. There should be open dialogue between a student, faculty and students, university and industry, and where we need to be open to many ideas. Okay, this is about me, but you can read it in LinkedIn as well. So I've been around quite a lot. Born initially in Argentina, living and working in Latvia for some time, and speaking the language as well, and I'm moving quite around. So quite a lot of my work has been in the last 13 years with the Riga Technical University, but I also work with something called the Asian European Foundation, that is a non-governmental organization established between the European and Asian governments, and I'm the strategic advisor for them for higher education issues. So this is the key idea of what I wanted to say today. University has to move away from being fortresses, where we put the whole things very connected, to be in the front line. Universities have been building our reputation and our work and our business model in a way on granting degrees, on protecting and granting degrees. So we are the ones that the students come to us, we give you knowledge, and then we certify that you have the knowledge, and that's the business model, how it has been built on. But this is the model that came up with the Industrial Revolution. So if you remember the Industrial Revolution, the very symbol of the Industrial Revolution was the machine. So you build a machine that you control the process. At the end of the day, university has been built on that model. So we control the process of education. But in that way, that we have protected the university, we have isolated the university from the world. And this image, I think, shows a little bit how universities have been built and where universities have to go. In the bottom, what you see is the oldest university that still exists. That is the University of Bologna. And what you can see is a cluster type of university. You have the walls. It's very protected. So to get in, you have a special permission, et cetera, et cetera. On the top of that, you have an institution called the BI Norwegian Business School. It's an institution I've been working in the last years. And what you can see is a completely different architecture, right? So it's architecture like this room at the end of the day. So it's open space, open coffee shops, open to connection. People are easy to reach. There are not closed offices. So you have the space for networking, the space for connection. Why? Because the currency of universities, because it's the currency of innovation, is what we call proximity. So at the end of the day, the biggest ideas, the best creations that can happen when people get together. And when you don't put walls and borders and obstacles in the connection between people. People can be politicians, can be academicians, can be students, can be the companies. So when you put the people together and you don't set obstacles in there, so you build proximity. And when you have proximity, you have innovation. This is very well proven in research. So we have very good evidence that when people are together, close together, and they don't have much obstacles between each other, more ideas come into fruition. So the university that, as I see it, and the university as many people see it, the university that we need now in the 21st century is not so much the university that is focused on delivering degrees or delivering papers for research, that of course that is important, both things are very important, but there is one more role that is more important. That is what we call the ecosystem orchestrator. So what Latvia needs, and any country needs, we need companies that produce more with less. This is called productivity. So we need that the agriculture, they start to produce products and services that are in a higher value added. We need that our startups start to be more successful. We need that our companies start to produce more products. How do you do that? Companies cannot do it in their own. Universities cannot innovate on their own. Government cannot work on their own. We need to put all the stakeholders together, and that's what we call ecosystem. And we need someone that is the ecosystem orchestrator. It is my idea, and the idea of many other people, that the best orchestrator of this new innovation ecosystem, the best one at this moment, could be the university. I have been working in many of these type of projects, some more or less successful. One of them, for example, is called the Tech Track, where we invite high school students together with companies, together with the universities to create tech startups, very small businesses, that are created by high school students between 10 and 12th grade. Or the other one is called the AI Studio. That is a space like this with a lot of screens where people can come and talk and work around artificial intelligence. What basically these two projects, as other projects are spaces where the stakeholders meet. They are excuses for stakeholders to meet and then start to generate new projects. This is a project I've been running with the support of the Ministry of Education and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology called the Education Innovation Laboratory. And what we did was invite people from all the stakeholders, from industry, university, government, and NGOs to create projects together. None of these projects were successful, but that was not what we were looking for. What we were looking for is that these stakeholders meet together, think together, and can develop projects together. And we have now a successful big project that came out of this, that is the Health Advanced Center in the Children's Hospital. So it started at the beginning, putting these stakeholders together, and then eventually they signed a memorandum and started to work together in a normal project. Now, everything what I am telling you with these examples is very well grounded on theory. And it's the question of what is innovation? And innovation is, and this is important that we realize, when we can speak about innovation? When we create a new product or a new service? No. Innovation is when we create new value to the customer. So meaning that we are creating something that someone is ready to pay for in some moment. So it's a very complex thing. So when we don't create, is not any product or any service is going to be an innovative product or innovative service. So it takes a lot of work between clients, society, government. I've been working in the last year quite a lot in the fintech area, and this is an area where we see a lot of innovation. But when do you see a revolut coming in? It comes when you put together the government and the potential customers and the universities and the IT developers, and together they go and create the value. The other concept that is important to understand is what we call diffusion of innovation. And some of you might know the big guru of that is called Rogers, who was the first one to speak about early adopters, et cetera, and et cetera. So this is a very important concept. So once you create the innovation, how do you diffuse it? And the other concept is what we call the ecosystem, innovation ecosystem. That is when the value you create is co-created by stakeholders. And we know that there is no innovation that has real value in the society if it is not co-created by all the stakeholders. And you can look at the last big important company has been created in the world, like Printful here, or Apple, or Bolt. They are all companies that are ecosystem companies. So you have all the stakeholders together. They co-create the value, and then they diffuse the value. So how this connected with the university? If you look at all those successful unicorns, in all of them you will have one university, at least one, that is in the very center of the innovation process. If you ask me which is the most successful city in Europe on creating unicorn, it's the University of Cambridge. They have more than 10 unicorns. It's not a particular city, it's a university where, I don't know if you know, but the largest producers, one of the largest producers of microchips in the world was established by students of University of Cambridge, a place where you cannot produce microchips. What they do is they do the design of the microchip for mobile devices. So they don't produce them, but they design them, and they own the whole value chain. When we look at some of the biggest innovation in the last 150 years, what we are going to see always, and you see the CRISPR, to modify DNA, or you see the BBB, and you can see the nuclear fusion, and you see the telegraph. What you are going to always see is a combination of industry, government, and university together. And many times, with universities from different countries. I always cite this example, that is the Royal Society of London, to make the case that actually any innovation process, before we make it institutional, is human. You know, we have many incubators, we have accelerators, we have different type of programs, student grants and things like that. But none of them will fix innovation ecosystem. They only will fix it when we don't put barrier between the student, the faculty member, the universities, and the companies. And we don't do that properly. And this is because of how some of these programs are run. The Royal Society of London was the birthplace of many of the innovation of the Industrial Revolution. And what they did was very easy. They brought the academicians from Oxford. They brought them to London, where there was no university. They put them together with the companies there, and they started to explore new ideas. That was the first science academy in the world, called the Royal Society of London. So we need a new social contract for higher education. In this picture, you can see a campus where you see people walking on different directions. That's what we don't need. We need campus where people are together, like we are now at this moment. With my colleagues, we have been thinking on university, and we have published a book in November that is about the new model of universities till 2060. You can download it for free. I can share after the book. And we have been thinking, okay, how the university will look like till 2060. I'm sure I'm not be working at that moment in university. But anyway, so there will be two main issues that will be around that. One is whether we will be human-centered or tech-centered, and how we will have access to all the knowledge and technology that we have around. And we see that there are three big challenges, especially with the rise of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is, in my view, and in the view of many others, the most transformative technology after the printing machine. So we have to go back 500 years to get something as big as artificial intelligence. So it's really a game changer. And what we see is three main challenges. One is about knowledge. Today, we don't know what is true and it's not true, among other things, because the author is a machine called AI. So there are many issues about that. The second one, with AI, we start to have more tools to personalize education. What is the role of the instructor as we move forward? Okay? And the third one, what will happen with the job markets? These are three challenges that artificial intelligence and other technologies are bringing to universities right now and push forward the need for a new model for universities. This is something that we have been testing for a couple of years. It's called Alex. Alex is a tool to personalize mathematics learning. So this individualizes the learning of mathematics according to your level. And the question is, why do you need a teacher and a tutor if you have a machine that can create for you exactly the roadmap that you need for mathematics? Don't worry, we have been testing this, and you need the tutor anyway, because at the end of the day, you need a human push to the kid, okay? But still, these type of tools will start to grow and grow exponentially as we move forward. Behind Alex, you have a startup that they have been using millions of data points behind that to create a special AI model to personalize education. And these are what we call the no regrets move for universities. These are if you are in a university rector position or a senior administration position, these are the things I will start looking at for the future. The number one is take down the walls to make humans to connect, and to connect as much as practically possible. Number two, and for this type of institution, probably it's easier than for big institutions like RTU, interdisciplinarity is a must. We cannot separate anymore disciplines because the problems are very complex. University has now to go to companies and help them solve the problems. But it cannot go to the university and say, okay, this is something of computer science, this is something of business. No, I mean, the companies need solutions. It doesn't matter whether it comes from one faculty or another faculty. The third thing, we need to create shared incentive for collaboration. We are not doing that at this moment. Most of the grants that are given to researchers are for one discipline or another discipline. So we are not incentivizing joint projects. I've been leading a couple of interdisciplinary programs with the Faculty of Computer Science, Faculty of Chemistry. It's very difficult because the incentives are not there for professors to work together. Another thing, we need to invest on leadership pipelines. What does it mean? Because the university has to grow on outreach outside the university, we need everyone, every student, every administrator, every professor to be able to work and lead processes. And that's why leadership skills are very important elements of the education process. And the last one, we have more and more the possibility to become internationalized institutions, but we need to be very embedded on the ground. I give you an example that you can check about what I am talking about. It's called the Media Lab in MIT. Of course, MIT has a lot of money, but these are examples that we can take bits and pieces of what it is. So what is the Media Lab? The Media Lab is a house, is a building, where you have over 20 research teams where the research projects are on problems. So they are fixing the mobility of the future, they are fixing artificial intelligence, literacy, and then people from any faculty can join and work there. So the department is not built on discipline, it's built on problems of the future. So what we suggest, embrace the wildness. We don't like it. Institutions, especially universities, are built to control the process. The accreditation procedures of higher education in general, not only Latin, in general, are not built for flexibility, and we know that. So we need to give more problem-based type of learning. We need to empower everyone to have more freedom. Here are a couple of examples of things that I've been doing with my students to show that. Probably the one on the left is one of the most famous one. We told them there is oligopoly in Latvia in the retail sector. 3 companies, meaning Rimi, Maxima, and Lidl, they control the prices of what consumers buy. What can we do? And we gave them the problem. And he said, come up with a solution. And you are going to talk to the Ministry of Economics and give them a solution. And they came up with. So they created something called letapartica.lv. And what letapartica does, it gets information from the market and exposes the prices. So the other one is the networking dinner, where it's an event that our students organize every year. That what we do is they organize a VIP event where companies, government, and students together. We don't control the process. It's their dinner. I'm supervised a little bit, of course. So this is from Newman, and with it I will finish. The university is a place where inquiries push forward, discovery is verified and perfected, where error is exposed by the collision of mind with mind and knowledge with knowledge. You see, there is very little about controlling the process. It's more about making knowledge, ideas, enthusiasm flow through the building. If you want to know more, so I have been working with MIT for quite a lot, and then they wrote an article about all our work. It's in my LinkedIn page, so you can get into there. So most of what I have told you, and more than that, is there. How we can make universities become really the orchestrator of the ecosystem to make Latvia or other societies to become more innovative. And with that, thank you so much.
Thank you for your insights. We're honored that you opened our plenary section. I invite the audience to ask questions.
Don't be shy.
Yes, please.
Nelly Abramishvili, ISMA University. Thank you for your such an interesting issue. And my question is, you have mentioned the collaboration between the business, the government, and the universities. And you mentioned it in the point of view of creating unicorns and new initiatives. But my question is about more about the teaching in universities. What do you think, should the governments and business influence the courses, the study programs which we teach in universities? I think it's a very sensible question for nowadays. And what is your opinion? Yeah. Thank you.
Welcome. Well, there is something in university, it's a principle of university called academic freedom. And academic freedom means that we are free. We are free to deliver, right? And then the result of, of the personal relationship of, so it's a way to foster the personal relationship between the master and the disciple, that is the students. And this is how university has been created. And this is the way how the best universities work. I mean, the faculty member explore, look for ideas, look for the basis, and then the student goes in the journey together with him. Now, certainly what happens, and this is part of the Industrial Revolution, I'm coming a little bit back, but is with the idea to make higher education available to many, we standardize it. We make it a standard, and the government, that always is very good at regulating, so they say, okay, we want to make sure everyone gets a normal level of it, so we regulated that, there is not bad quality here and there. I think it's a question at the end of the day of balance, on how much is the balance. The government now has the initiative of what is called the institutional accreditation. I think that is a very good idea, so if well implemented, so it's going to be the way to give more freedom to the institutions. I don't know if I answer. Thank you. Okay.
Igor Straevs, Member of Parliament. And since I'm the politician and actually technically part of the government, I want to ask a question of the role of the government. You mentioned about the ecosystem where everybody gets its role, that government also need to be involved. It's two-sided question. What part of the government involvement you want to have in the process, beside the money which the government gives for the research and sustaining the institutions? And how you see them in ideal situation, setting up you a direction of what need to be researched and developed. Because very often the politicians are sometimes strange people. In one year you are Minister of Health, and next year you are Minister of Education, and then you are something else. So the quality of the intellectual advice is somehow, I need to be critical, it's somehow average, yeah. Well, how you see really involvement of the government and active role of the government in the whole process?
Yeah. I've been leading the the education work group of the Foreign Investor Council for over 10 years. And I think I have been one of the most permanent policy makers in this country, because the Minister of Education has changed too often, right? But I will answer, and probably I'm not going to be that popular with the government on this, but there is in Europe something called the principle of subsidiarity. The principle of subsidiarity is a foundational principle of how Europe should operate. And that means that the higher power should only get involved in the lower power if the lower power cannot do the work. So when the Ministry of Education or the government get too involved on the next level, in the case of the university level, well, the question is why? Because this is a little bit of a not respecting their freedom of the institutions that they need to actually act. So my view is that the university only should get involved only when certain fundamental rights are not respected. For example, if we have a lot of children in Latvia that they do not have the same quality of education that others. There is a gap in equality. There the government should be involved. But getting involved in the operation of the universities, I think should be only in circumstances when those universities cannot handle themselves anymore. So the government should, and the Ministry of Education, with time, I hope, will have more of a strategic type of role. That is, looking at the main issues, the main strategic issues of the system, but not getting involved too much in what the universities should do. And we have in Latvia an issue, and probably I'm not going to be popular with many people on this, but that the private sector in education is not that large. So, and if you look at the best universities in the world, top 10 in the rankings, they are not, some of them might be public, but the best ones are private. And the reason is, MIT is private, Harvard is private. They are private, non-for-profit, but they are private. And there is a reason for that. You feel you own the thing. You feel responsibility for the thing. So I really hope that as we move on in the long term, there will be more private education in the country. There will be less involvement in the day-to-day of the institutions. And the government will have a more role on what is the strategy and the protection, but especially in those group of people that are more vulnerable. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh,
and next we'll hear about IB, A level and US education systems. Dr. Nelly Abramishvili.
Good afternoon, colleagues. My name is Nelly Abramishvili. I am a guest lecturer in ISMA University. And I want to talk today about a very important issue about school education systems. And I think it's very important for society in general. It's very important because of our personal goals, because we are teaching students and we should understand which educational system they are representing in our universities and which features we should take into account and how we can deal with the different school systems graduates. And I've decided to make a comparative study of three most popular educational systems in the world. One is a IB system, which is international, and firstly it was developed like the system for the children from different embassies, which are moving from country to country with the parents, and they are and they don't need to switch from one national system to another. And two other systems from United Kingdom, it's GCSE and A-level, and educational system of United States of America. And let's start. This is the brief study structure. We will start with the introduction, then we will discuss the number and the type of exams. We will discuss on one subject example, we will discuss the depth and width of the study in different systems. We will discuss the transition between systems and university recognition, and then we will make the conclusion. We need to understand the number and type of exams which every system includes, subject content, and the next very important thing is the international recognition of each system. And this is the overview. And here you can see the following things. The IB diploma program, which we have in our school in ISMA, it's an international system, and you need to study on IB diploma program during 2 years, and you need to choose 6 subjects. 3 will be standard level and 3 will be high level, and you have additional things like theory of knowledge and different other external assessment exams. You should choose the 6 exams according to the destination which you want to choose in university, but you still stay flexible, because 6 exams allows you choose between, for example, economics and management in university, or for example go to the math faculties. But if we are talking about the British system, which consists from 2 levels of exam. First is GCSE exam after the in United Kingdom it's year 11. According to the Latvian system, it's something about a year 9. So it's 14, 15, 16 years old students. You should choose from 7 to 10 exams. It's almost all the subjects which you have in the school, but after it, when you are going to the high school, you should choose only 3 or maybe 4 exams. Very good performance students, they can complete 5 exams, but it's not the rule. Mostly it's 3 or 4 exams. And the main problem from my point of view of this system, that at the age of 15, 16 years, you should understand exactly which university or which occupation you want. Because when you have only 3 exams, you are not so adjustable. You should be sure that you are going to physics, for example, and if you have decided to go to the physics, you cannot switch your choice at the end of this A-level system, because you have only 3 exams. And the American system is completely different. So the high school in the United States is 4 last years of the school, comparing with the A-levels and IB diploma, only 2 years. And so to enter to American university, you should show the performance during the last 4 years. And you should take the SAT test, which is actually formally it's not mandatory, and most of the American universities they have the statement that the SAT test is not mandatory. But if we are looking at the statistics of the offers. Most of students which get the offers from American university, they have taken this SAT test. So it's kind of non-fair situation from my point of view when they declare that you don't need this test, but actually you need it if you want to get the offer with a high probability. And the second part of American system is so-called advanced placement exams, which are actually the university level courses which you should take in the high school. And you can find here different opinions about the number of these AP exams. But in general, you should take not less than 4 AP courses, but it's better 8 or 9 AP courses. So during these 4 years, you should be ready to take the SAT test, which is actually the math test and English, only 2 subjects in SAT test. But without advanced placement, your chances to get the offer from American university is very low. So if we are talking about the US school diploma without SAT test, which is formally is not mandatory, and without the advanced placement exams, which are not mandatory too, only the school diploma is not very good for your university future. So you should take these additional exams. But actually, everything is up to you, everything is up to your choice, but actually you should understand that you should complete at least 7 or 8 AP exams and have this SAT test to enter to American university. So if we are discussing the British system, the GCSE and A-level exams, during the GCSE, you should take almost all the subjects which you have in the school. Some of them are mandatory, some not, but at least the number of exams is very huge. But the idea is that the next step in British system is A-levels, which number is only 3. So that's why they demand to cover all the school subjects on the IGCSE level, because you should show your knowledge in all the subjects which you have in the school. And after it, when you have decided about your university, you will continue your education in very narrow and with very big depth. So this is the main feature of British system, that you have only 3 exams. If we are talking about the American one, I have mentioned that AP exams, they are optional, but they are highly recommended by top universities. And comparing to the IB system and I-level system, the AP exams, they are not dedicated to the subjects in general. For example, in IB diploma program or A-level, you have physics in general. But in advanced placement, this physics will be divided to the mechanics, optics, and other fields in this subject. So you can choose different fields inside the subject. And this is the main feature of United States system. And if we are talking about the IB diploma program, we have the mandatory subjects, and you have opportunity to choose different subjects from the list you can find on the slide. But the main feature of IB diploma program, which I like the most, is core components, which are all they are mandatory in the system. It's the extended essay, the theory of knowledge, and creativity, activity, and service. What does it mean, these three components? So extended essay, it's the essay on any subject you want, and you perform it under the supervision of one teacher or maybe more if it's interdisciplinary essay. And you are developing your research and skills, your analytical skills, critical thinking skills. And it's not only the one thing when you can develop your critical thinking skills, and we will discuss it a few minutes later when we discuss the economic exam. And the other things, it's about doing the project to perform some creativity and other things which are outside the subject and outside the some disciplines. And in this program, we have the balance between the breadth and the depth of studying different disciplines, because 3 exams, they are, so you should choose 3 high-level exams, which means that the level of the study will be on the almost the university level. For example, I'm teaching the economics in our IB school, and maybe it's a lot of stuff to read on this slide, but you just can pay attention to the things which are bold, because they are showing the difference in the units, in the topics which we have in economics for IB diploma program. The A-level program doesn't cover these things, and in AP, in American system, they don't have an exam in economics, but they have 2 different exams, microeconomy or macroeconomy, and it's your choice. You can, for example, choose only one, and so you will have a very narrow knowledge in economics, only one part without another. But it's absolutely impossible in A-level and IB diploma program. And the main, the second advantage of my subject, for example, in IB diploma program, is that we have so-called internal assessment when students, they should find some articles about the microeconomy, macroeconomy, and global economy, and write the review, their own opinion about this article, about this news. So this article should be not more than 1 year ago printed, so it should be modern, contemporary, and they should explain what is happening around us using the concepts which they learned from this course. So they see the strong connection between the knowledge which they are obtaining in this program and connection between this knowledge and with the things which are happening around us. And it develops the critical thinking very well when you not just performing some ideas, but you understand the connection between the theory and between the life. And actually the most questions in papers, exam papers for IB diploma, they ask from students to have the so-called real life examples for different situations, for different theoretical concepts. And this is a very useful thing from 2 points of view. First is about the development, the critical thinking for students, and the second, these internal assessment, they are the part of final grade on the exam, because A-level system and American advanced placement, they are absolutely 100 external exam, only papers without any coursework. So if you are feeling not so good, for example, it may be it will have a big impact on your final grade. But when you have these courseworks, you can demonstrate your skills and abilities, not only sitting in the auditory and writing the papers. And I think it's the biggest advantage of IB diploma program. So this is the conclusion, just formulating the things I just mentioned right now. And the next thing is transition between the educational system. There are some facts on the slide, but I need to mention that you can make the transition very easy before the high school. For example, if you graduated and you took your HSC exams, after it you can switch to A-level or from A-level to IB diploma program. But it's very difficult to switch after it to American system, because in United States the high school is for 4 years, and so you should enter this system in the middle, and your classmates, they have completed some AP exams right now, but you just only entering. So American system, it's kind of separating them, itself from the others. But switching between IGCSE and IB and A-level, it's a very usual thing, and it's more complicated if we are talking about the American schools. Regarding the universities, again, if we are talking about the national system like A-levels, the British one, there is no any problem enter the British university with A-levels exam. And the same if we are talking about the SAT and advanced placement exams and American universities. But if you are trying to mix it, for example, if you want to enter American university with A-levels, it's still possible, but it's accepted, but it's a little bit challengeable. But the most problems you will have if you are graduated the American school and you are trying to enter British and European universities. Again, the most adjustable system is IB diploma program, because you can enter with this diploma any university you want, but if you want to enter the American university, you still should take the SAT test. So again, the IB diploma program is most adjustable. This is some information about the entering with American diploma to European universities. In some countries, it will be very challengeable, but Scandinavian countries and Switzerland, they are accepting the American diplomas. So, and this is the conclusion. As I told you earlier, both three systems, they are very interesting, but if you want to choose, you should understand your goal, which university, in which country, and switching from one system to another. It's not a very good idea, but switching at the level of universities, it's still possible, especially if you have graduated the IB diploma school. Thank you.
Thank you for your valuable perspective. Now, please, any questions?
Thank you very much. Liga Valainen, Swisscom. We live in a very global world, and do you see that any shifts are possible between those systems to help overcome those difficulties if people really want to shift from one to another? Are there any involvements in that?
Actually, I don't know about the facts of collaboration between the administrative between the administration of these systems. I think they are trying to develop them in their own way, and I don't think that they want to change something. If we are talking about the A-level system, they don't have mandatory exams at all. So you can choose any subject you want. And it was one idea from Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. Maybe he took it from the other systems. He wanted to make the English language exam mandatory for A-level system, but this idea wasn't implemented. So the idea was that if you want to study in UK university, you should know the English language. But still, if you are taking physics, chemistry, and math in English, it means that you know this language. And why should you take the additional exam about the English poetry, for example? So it was the only one fact when they were trying to use the ideas from one system for another. But I think they don't want to harmonize it. They are developing, especially in all the countries, they are with some ambitions that they are the best in the educational system, because I have heard the talk between the chat between the teachers from British college, and they are discussing that the British educational system is the best in the world. So I don't think they want to change something looking at the European system, so American especially. Yeah. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now I invite Liga Valaine, HR business partner at Swisscom.
Thank you, everyone, for having me here today. Today, I'm going to be representing the perspective of the business here and what the companies are mainly looking forward for. Mainly looking forward in the new talents entering the job market, and how overall the job market is shifting at the now. So very hot topic for us are cross-disciplinary skills, and I will explain a bit later why. But overall about me, I'm an HR business partner at Swisscom DevOps Center in Riga. So Swisscom is a huge telco company in Switzerland, operating as well in Italy. And DevOps Center is a very specific business solution provider for basically for the technology for this Swiss technology giant. And as well, I'm an ISMA guest lecturer. This morning I checked, already for 5 years. Once every semester I'm a guest here, and it's a huge honor to be a guest here today as well. But before we go further, what is the world of DevOps, which I am living in, and currently we are hiring around 200 DevOps engineers in Riga. So some few years ago, in the job market here in Latvia, we had only few specialists, I would say we could call full-blooded DevOps engineers. So to explain what is DevOps, I will give you a very quick and easy example of a pizza restaurant. So imagine like a very simple business with the chefs making the pizza, with delivery team, but so many things could go wrong. So if those two parties do not communicate together, we have a result that is not delivered at time. We have a wrong result delivered to the wrong person. We have the food cold. We have the food uncooked. So many things could go wrong. So DevOps world is about the idea of the shared kitchen. This is the idea of a business collaborating actively with operations, bringing developers with product owners together. So basically, it happens when both parties work side by side, shoulder by shoulder. It means that collaboration happens on the real time, actively, and all the processes are automated and efficient to avoid anything having any problems or inconveniences. And it results in delivering better pizza, or in our case, better software in time with fewer problems. And working DevOps shows that we can deliver right product with the first time without adding any additional extensions afterwards or remaking the product itself. So 4 years ago, we opened the DevOps Center in Riga, and at that time, we had only a few DevOps engineers. Now, I would say this is already past, despite the fact that we are still lacking a bit of finding the DevOps engineers in the market. But the future is now, and we are today speaking of totally different positions in the perspective of our business, and I'm specifically here will be speaking of the IT. So many of those job titles, and majority of them are real job titles in Swisscom Switzerland, but again, 4 years ago there were no DevOps engineers, almost no DevOps engineers in Riga. So basically, at the moment, even to our portfolio in Latvia, we are adding FinOps specialists. We are adding cloud operations. We are adding digital transformation officers and many other talents, which skills are mainly overlapping with many areas. So what we are looking in the market to deliver the best result to our end customer are cross-disciplinary skills. And cross-disciplinary skills is basically the ability to think from multiple angles, add knowledge from multiple fields to solve problems, create solutions, and basically work effectively. And in IT, especially, currently we see this tendency that we are blending tech expertise with other business fields like design, communication, psychology, and with AI becoming more and more important, even ethics becomes as a crucial combination to tech knowledge and tech stack. So basically, what are the most hot combinations in the market at the moment? So first one is very straightforward. It's programming with user experience, with UX design, which gives developers this understanding on what the end customer will be looking forward. Data analytics nowadays comes very handy together with marketing knowledge, especially when we are delivering most of our news through the social media. Cybersecurity goes hand in hand with law, and we see that many new frameworks from the legal perspective comes to our daily life, so these two goes together very well. And what I mentioned earlier, artificial intelligence and machine learning comes with aspects like ethics, communication, and psychology, because we can teach many things to AI, but we are far from teaching the human aspects and the human factor into that. Software development comes with project management. If we speak of DevOps engineers and DevOps team, then mostly they are working in the agile way of working. So that means that both parties need to understand project management principles and approaches very well. And the new tendency, which we are seeing in Swisscom Switzerland as well, is that IT engineers are very welcome to have additional knowledge or education in fields related to sustainability, starting with green thinking and ending with analytical results on how can we produce building the networks and be efficient with what we do to the nature with that. And back to market in Latvia. So what are the drivers behind this shift that we are really looking for those cross-disciplinary skills? Of course, it's a digital transformation itself. Evolution is happening, and especially with technology. And big push to that is that mostly private business is working whether hybrid or remote. So before COVID, most of us had stationary computers at their workplaces, and the huge boom with COVID happened that there was global shortage of portative computers. That gave us a big breakthrough in the technology of portative computers, and that kind of start evolving to other things as well, because if we are changing the way how we work, if we are changing the habits, we need new tracking systems, we need additional support, we need to change the idea on even how do we approach people in the organization. So bad thing, good thing, COVID gave us something good out of that as well. Specifically in Latvia, a big driver is, of course, a startup ecosystem, which is very, very well maintained, and a helpful hand is given from the academic perspective, as Claudia Riviera was introducing previously, and many innovation hubs. Swisscom is a part of many of them, like Riga Tech Girls, Start School, and most of them mainly are focusing whether to add additional skills to those technical people, or are focused on reskilling, like Riga Tech Girls. Most of these ladies that are in the project are having totally different backgrounds, and basically we see that many of the best engineers are coming from reskilling programs like Riga Tech Girls, for example, because they are adding additional value to products they are working on. And I would say it's not only knowledge-wise, but it drives the interest if you really understand and not only deliver the code, but you really understand the issue and the topic behind of it. And of course, the driver behind the shift, of course, are educational reforms and EU-funded programs, which we are having and using in Latvia as well. So if we are speaking of our observation as business on the impact of education and upskilling, I would basically say that we see some shifts really early, see them already in schools. Shifting to a competency approach in schools, putting focus on critical thinking and creativity and collaboration is something that we notice already. Of course, only once a year, mainly we see teenagers in our company. It's the shadow days, and we see that we are shifting from having this event as more of a employer branding activity towards the fact that really those 14, 15 years young people are coming and asking really relevant questions. They come prepared, and this is already a very good first step towards where we are moving forward as a society. Academic shifts, so more and more universities are creating combined programs, combining tech with humanities, and work with real-life projects coming towards the companies and offering the services with solving the problems and becoming more as a partners to the businesses. But not only academic learning is really important these days. We see that, especially in IT field, engineers want to get everything really fast. So LinkedIn Learning and Coursera is the main category of expenses that we are covering for our engineers in terms of their development. And I would say that this demand of micro-credentials and boot camps and getting things fast is something that will become more and more important, and where we see as well universities are stepping out a bit of this classical framework of bachelor and master studies, offering free open courses, offering some guest lectures, offering some additional programs, and so on. And this will be the future. But what we do on our own, and it's not only Swisscom, it's other technology companies like Accenture and Tieto, we put a huge investment in our internship programs. And to be fair, internship is a job that nowadays can be done by AI. So the valid question would be why companies are investing that much in interns. And I would say, like, even the recruitment for the good interns is not that easy, and we put the same effort as hiring the engineer. So basically, despite the fact that every intern could be covered by AI prompt, this is our way to shape the material of future engineers, what would fit in our company in the best way. And here, the shift in our case is based in the fact that we are focusing more on very mature students. So possibilities for very, very junior students are limited to some open days or possibility to mentor one or another engineer. But internship programs are already very concentrated, very focused, with very clear agenda and the outcome. And the ideal expectation for IT companies is to hire the intern after the internship. So what are the steps that should be considered from perspective of employer and from the perspective of job seekers? So I understand many students are here today or listening online this. So basically, employers currently are putting a very big focus on thinking of upskilling and reskilling employees, because even in IT, Q&A, test automation is something that is soon to be replaced by AI, and Swisscom is no example. Over the next 2 years, we will have huge reductions, more specifically in the Switzerland, but still we are putting a focus now already to reskill those talents that we have. So after this year or two, we could offer them a different possibilities within the company. We promote cross-disciplinary projects within the company. We put our efforts to let them be very noticeable. We shift from very classical job descriptions, and what we should do, and all companies should do, is to focus on skill portfolios. It's more important to work other way around to get the best result, to understand what are your resources, not to try to get an orange juice from an apple. And companies need to collaborate with educational institutions more, with formal and non-formal, with all the academia, with all hubs and boot camps, because this is the future, especially for IT. But for job seekers, for students here today, I would like to emphasize the fact that we need to admit that we are a generation of lifelong learning. This will not start with bachelor diploma or master diploma here. We live in a different era where we will be valued only if we will follow the time, follow the technology, and build our own portfolio of cross-functional specialities. So here the focus is, again, as mentioned earlier, to focus on cross-disciplinary skills, covering the business with art, covering technology with humanities. Finding very unique angle for yourself is how you will be able to sell yourself in the market. Be brave, network across several sectors, find those cross connections, they will help you later. And don't be afraid of, be vocal of your skills, brand yourself as a translator between the bridges, between different business fields, and this will help you to develop in the future. So what is the future outlook? Cross-disciplinary fluency will be our new literacy. This is something that is expected from us in the future. Human creativity is something that cannot be replaced. Our sense of ethics, our knowledge of psychological processes is something that cannot be replaced. Very easy, so try to add this angle to your knowledge. Educational system already moves towards those cross-disciplinary skills, and the business needs are going the same way, so I believe that we need to meet halfway there and to help each other out with that. And still, we need to keep in mind that several huge companies are having already had and will have significant layoffs when machine learning and AI is stepping in to help many processes to become leaner and faster and more cost effective. But still, Latvia is a great market where to be and where to start. And we see many new investments coming in here. And basically, 4 years ago, when Swisscom came here, they opened 2 DevOps centers in Europe. One was in Netherlands, and the second one here in Riga, Latvia. So many cheaper countries were evaluated, but we have this perfect combination of great specialists, great culture, which is easy to work with. We are close enough to Central Europe to deliver the best, and ourselves, we are very adaptable to change. So we need to not only complain, but to admit that we are a great place for business to be. And for some takeaways for the final, companies are looking for those cross-disciplinary skills and believe that employers are ready to invest in you if they will believe in return of this investment. Continuous development is the value of many companies these days. Swisscom is not an example, and admit that lifelong learning will be a part of your life, and reskilling is something to consider if you see that your portfolio is not full enough to be competitive in the market. And what to be ready, we are speaking of Generation X, Generation Z, Generation Alpha is coming to the market, but be ready that Generation Beta is already been born, and these are AI natives. So remember, great examples are my kids, for example. They don't know what button phones are, and that is some ancient technology for them. Generation Beta most probably will laugh at many technologies we are using right now, so we need to be very ready for that. And there is this quote I like very much: "Pace of change has never been this fast, yet it will never be this slow again." This was said by Justin Trudeau in World Economic Forum in Davos 7 years ago. It was 7 years ago when the world was considering that we are at the highest peak. We haven't gone through COVID at the time. We didn't use ChatGPT on our daily life, but that was the idea that this is the highest peak. So again, we could say this today, but after 2 years, most probably, this will seem very funny to us. So thank you everyone for today, having the view of the private sector and of the employer here today. I will be very glad to answer to your questions, if any.
Many thanks to Liga. Please, your questions. Maybe I will be the first one. What details can you share with us in regards to adoption of Gen AI technologies within the Swisscom? What is the trend, overall, like speed of changes, let's say, the adoption of new technologies, and maybe what are your future, let's say, vision, how it will look like in the future?
I'm an HR, so for me it is very hard sometimes to believe to all technologies that we will be having and will be having very soon. A great example is that next week we will launch our own chatbot for HR support to employees. It means that even in HR, most probably soon we will have too many of the human resource. So this is just a very operational example of what we are having. But as I said, like Q&A, test automation is something that is very manual activity, and within a year or two, this is the plan, that most of these specialists will be covered by technology. So the reskilling and upskilling for them is the future and our main focus to provide.
Thank you.
I think there's a question.
Well, I do have a question regarding the relation between the corporations and even with the back-end people. So in big corporation, they do have a system, right, where people will be interacting with the other backend systems. But what about new startups? What about new startups coming in Latvia, where we can, how the new people and the new companies can implement these kind of new innovations to their company itself?
It very much lies into the resources and into the money. Technology costs the money. That is the thing we need to admit. But to be very open, even ChatGPT is a huge resource, and the Riga Business School currently are having these EU-funded trainings on ChatGPT. Currently, they are mostly for business leaders and department managers, but overall, it's a free resource. We cannot even imagine the power of it. Yet, we need to be very careful with that, and as I said, even for AI technology in Swisscom, we have specialists that have those cross-functional knowledge with fields of communication, psychology, ethics, sociology, and others. So I don't know if I answered it fully, but
I do have a sub-question regarding that one. When you talked about the AI, inventing AI into a new company or a new startup would decrease the amount of people working there, right? So how can we toggle that part? Because the decision-making should be done by a human rather than with an AI. AI can do the job, but the decision-making should be done by a human. So what are the other ways where we can implement decision done by a human itself rather than using an AI completely in the future?
Human factor will never be excluded. This is the fact that we need this driver in the front seat. But basically, I think we are at the step where we have more questions than answers, to be fair. But human resource will not be replaceable. It will shift, but it will not be replaceable. Thank you.
Maybe I can add here, according to EU Act, AI Act, basically there are some specific fields in which human cannot be replaced by AI. So you can actually accommodate that. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now, Associate Professor Dr. Lydia Kraul-Jaliene from Mykolas Romeris University will now present a study on the design and empirical testing of a digital model for evaluating organizational development at the executive level.
Hello. Thank you very much for inviting me here as a speaker to share my results and research results. And before we heard the information about organizations, about universities, companies, also schools as organizations, so public organizations and business organizations. And now let's talk about executives. Who's driving these organizations and how to drive very productively. And now I want to share my postdoctoral research on the topic of designing and empirically testing the digital model for evaluation of organizational development. And I'm a researcher in Mykolas Romeris University. So my project is financed by national funding in Lithuania. And the major problem is in the end, so in productivity. And when we are going deeper to statistics, to Lithuanian case, we are not very highly in tops on productivity results. So we're not reaching the European middle level, so that's why here is a problem in Lithuania. So we should think how to improve the productivity in business organization or in public organization. And the executives and top-level managers and middle-level managers, they are very important on that. And when we're talking about executives, we are thinking about leadership methodologies, and we hear that that American methodology is very effective, and Scandinavian ones. And really, looking to statistics, USA and Scandinavian countries like Finland, they are in tops on Global Talent Competitiveness Index, Global Skills Report, and they are using high-performance work practices like teamwork, training and development, performance management, and they are doing very well. In comparison with Lithuania case, we have 22% of managers with very low competencies on of management and leadership. So here we have a problem, and the aim of the research is to develop and design the model and empirically tested digital model for the evaluation of organizational development and oriented to executives to help them. And the novelty is intersection of management and computer sciences as research fields together. And the objectives is to carry out the theoretical analysis, to look for one or another methodology, to opposite one to another, American and Finland one in this case, and to identify the indicators, how to evaluate the organizational development, to digitalize them, to train indicators in clusters, and to estimate indicators with the biggest influence on organizational development. And talking about these two organizational development methodologies, American one was chosen like as action science. So this is research proved by research methodology found by 50 years of research works developed by Chris Argyris and Donald Shon in Harvard Business School. And this methodology is as meta theory to see and to evaluate other methodologies. Are they working well or not? So this is very important methodology in research environment and also in practice, because this methodology has proved that improving the efficiency and productivity twice or more. And we have results, and we have cases like examples of using companies of this methodology, so this is very effective one. And another one, Finland methodology. So I didn't find the research proved by research such kind of Finland case, so that's why this is very important to compare it, because we hear very well that education is very good in Finland and so on. But the main principle here is consensus. And when we compare decision-making or other tools of these two methodologies, so consensus is not very effective, because all the participants in the making decision, they should say yes. So this take very much time from one side, and when you want to make decisions very quickly, when you have some problems or other things, so this is not very efficient one. But let's compare them all two methodologies, and for the research it was selected three publications, and the main also question, does exist the possibility to estimate the article? So we have 3 articles from Action Science, these ones, and we have 3 articles from Finland case. These 3 of articles was selected, and the task is to how to estimate the quality of articles of Action Science and Finnish case. And we have traditional methods just to read and identify something, evaluate, calculate, but also we have a novel method to use artificial neural network. and how to establish goals. So for output, expert is selecting the indicators, and also must give the grade for these indicators. And we have here the pool of indicators of two methodologies. So see here, you can see here the indicators similar of one and another case, and also different ones. So very important to use these tools here as indicators for organizational development. So this is not only mentoring and coaching skills, but also decision-making skills, feedback providing, and double loop learning, difficult talks, how to manage them, and so on. And expert is giving the grade for every indicator in research papers. And then these indicators, they are gathering in clusters, different ones. So for action science, because this is systematic methodology, we have two clusters for leader competence and for high-performing teams. And for in Finnish case, because this methodology is decentralized, we have only one cluster for consensus concept. And we are simulating with artificial neural network in request and response way, and selecting the keywords from these publications relating to one or another methodology. And here are, as an example, for example, was selected 90 keywords. And we are using methods like zip lore to evaluate how keywords is relating with, correlating with selected indicators by expert. And also we are using program Volume 01, and this program was created by scientists, a group of scientists, and also with Professor Alytis Grodis. He's here helping me with artificial intelligence network to make this research. And this is the publication just proving this program. And we have in artificial neural network 3 layers: input, output, and single hidden layer. And we're using Java framework for that. And also S-shaped function. Why we choose this one? Because we can simulate and find the best result with sigmoidal one graph. And that's why this method is also chosen. So mathematics inside, so it means that we also evaluate the error and using this formula. And formula is used to find how precisely we have learned the network. Because before evaluation, we need to learn network to prepare interface for that. And input parameters we have here. So for input, we have keywords, and output indicators, and single hidden layer we have only one, and the number of perceptrons and training epochs are also here. And the usage of artificial neural network, we have 3 stages: training, the first one, then validating, and prediction. So in training, we are finding the best solution between epochs and single hidden layers. And here, training was started at 200 perceptrons and hidden layer. And these graphs are very good. And the best one solution we had when the deviation is 10 to 5, very near to the best result. Because here you see that they're in the graph going upper from 10 to 5, not good result, because this is overtraining means in artificial neural networks. So so we should stop in this stage if we have this in our research. And for validation, we have the number of indicators, as I said, 17 ones, so from E0 to E16. So one more time to remember for you. And the results are here. So we are matching these two methodologies and and indicators one to each other. So they are switching from one methodologist to another in this intersection points you see here. And in the end, after this, we have a conclusion that research results will bring added value for social sciences as innovative cut in classification the indicators of American and Finnish organizational development techniques, and these results would make positive influence also on Lithuanian productivity, and we can improve it. And also using artificial neural networks and tools is possible to evaluate the relationship between linguistic text in publications of the analyzed articles and digital numerical indicators. An automatic grading system also was created and tested and validated. So analysis of organizational development in the framework of American action science methodology and Finnish one was conducted to identify a set of digital indicators for qualitative evaluation of organizational development, and a new interface was created using artificial neural network, and training using the expert obtained data was successful, so we got good results, and network convergence was achieved as fully satisfied, so very near to 100 result. So, and the model is important for executives to improve their organization, to improve their quality and performance of working with teams, groups, and it doesn't matter if it's top-level manager or middle-level manager, they should use the same concept, and I'm suggesting to use American one because this is systematic, good working, and very well-known methodology. So thank you very much. If you have questions.
Thank you. Any questions from the audience? Again, maybe my question, you mentioned that you have 90 inputs to your neural network, and these inputs are the presence or absence of the keywords from the article, right?
Yes, these keywords are from articles, okay. And we find these keywords based on action science methodology, so what is important for one methodology and what is important for another one, based on the methodology as itself.
And what is the size of the training data set?
Sorry?
Size of the training data set? Like how many?
I don't hear you.
What is the size of the training data set used to train the network?
Where is the science here?
What was the size? How many input data points have you used to train the network?
How many points? I don't understand maybe the question. Yeah, we should train till the 10 to 5 till this period, and if the training is okay, so we see the results in the graph. If it's over training, so we will see that we are not going in a good way. We should change something in the methodology, and then to return to the first point. But here are good results. We get good results, so that's why the methodology is proved, and yeah, results are very.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And the next speaker is Baiba Apkalna, Process Manager at ISMA Enterprises, who will introduce us to the future of learning.
Hi there, just from the library, as you can see. The clicker. Oh, okay. So, my name is Baiba. I work as a process manager in a big tech company, ISMA, in Latvia. I'm also a business consultant and trainer, and I also teach 7th grade students coding and programming skills. So a bit of a wide range of things. As well, I have a master's degree in classical philology, meaning ancient Greek and Latin with all the dialects. So I'm completely prepared to work in ancient Greece and Rome. Wow. So that's why I have another degree. So I have an MBA. I'm proud to be a graduate of Riga Business School. But my experience and my education has given me ability to compare different times and different approaches. And when a couple of years ago I started to learn coding, programming, I discovered that ancient languages are quite similar to the ones we are using in coding. And that was my first wow discovery that maybe with being professionally ready to work in ancient Greece and Rome, here I am with all those ancient languages. As well, being in different companies as a trainer and consultant has given me a view of the things we are also talking here today, meaning technology and all the new trends we are working with. I'm a system administrator of a system. When I applied for a job, I haven't seen the system. They hired me, and then I learned the system. This is how it works nowadays. This is the magic of this time. And this also means the shift in education, in approach, the things we do with students. And the first question, actually, I came to you today with is, hello? Question. Do you know what's the speed of light? Who knows by heart? Okay, now raise hands whose first thought was, I should go to the library and check. Okay, nobody. The second, whose first thought, okay, I'll open Google and see. I guess that's the majority of you, right? Google is the first thought. Well, I'll check quickly. Okay, and whose first thought was to ask AI, ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever? Okay, more than a couple of answers. That's good. That's more than the library. And that's good. Because actually the data shows we are quite lacking in Latvia the usage of AI. That's why we need to do it, to think about it. Okay, what's the speed of light? 300,000? Yeah, exactly. So somebody knows, or you Googled. No, wow. So yeah, that was the first question. Of course, I had to come here with a joke. So I assume somebody has seen this one, free book versus free Wi-Fi. Which one would you choose? I can give you a free book for those who prefer free books. Yeah, of course, that shift has happened due to the technology we are having nowadays. And technology has made shift also in pedagogy, working with students, with children, and also a shift in human connection. The thing we see in a person that's standing here today, for example. Because, for example, I today thought, well, I have to participate in a conference. Let's ask AI, what could I speak about in this conference? AI gave me some 5 options, great options, perfect options. One of them you see today in the name of my presentation. Well, let's go one step further. What would you suggest me to put in the contents of that subject? Yes, and AI gave me the contents of today's presentation. Then why should I stand here today? Is the main question, right? And that is also the question students ask a lot, and not only students. Then I asked AI to generate a picture for me, a traditional classroom. What do we see in a traditional classroom here? A teacher, rows, pupils are sitting in the rows. And teacher with chalk is writing on a board, something on a board. And then I went to the library and asked for a story in an old book. I have it here today with me. So a bit of a story, a bit of a poetic story for you. The old schoolhouse stood on a gentle rise, its brick weathered by a century of Latvian winds. Inside, chalk dust danced in the sunbeams, slanting through tall windows, illuminating rows of wooden desks where generations had learned their letters and sums. Teacher Vilnis, his silver beard neatly trimmed, still believed in the power of well-worn textbook and the rhythm of recitation. But the world outside the schoolhouse walls was changing at a dizzying pace, a digital tide creeping ever higher. The children, though respectful in his presence, carried pocket-sized portals to universes of information. Pocket-sized portals to universes of information. What are those? Is this the pile of books, the pocket-sized portal? I think in every pocket nowadays is the portal to the information, right? One crisp autumn morning, a new device arrived. A sleek, interactive whiteboard. Donated by a forward-thinking alumni, Vilnis regarded it with suspicion, like a strange, silent beast. But students were happy. All the quiet ones started to help the old teacher. All the shy ones helped to install the whiteboard. Something has changed. And then the AI gives me the picture of a modern classroom. What's the difference? What do you see in the picture? What's the difference? There's no teacher in front of them. There's no chalk and board. They all work together. And ask how many times you want to give me a modern classroom. It's always the one like this, without teacher, but they all are working together as a team. And that has changed in the modern classroom. This is my personal story. Yes, I'm teaching like 600 pupils in Latvian schools, 7th grade students. Of course, I'm teaching them online. And sometimes I'm happy I don't see them. Shh. But it's a completely different experience. It's my studio in my house. It's a chat, Discord, where we talk to each other. Of course, I don't see their names. Of course, I don't see who they are. But we can talk and we can interact. And this is a small video from last week when I, with my beautiful dogs, went to European Dog Show and had to lead my class from Krakow in Poland. So let's see, what does it look like? My class nowadays. Yeah, I had an assistant, 2 assistants. Yeah, and that is something that has changed, even without AI. That's my reality, working with the 7th grade students in schools. Of course, technology gives us opportunities. What are those opportunities? Benefits of AI, just asking, give me something, give me an idea, give me a thought. Just standing here, I asked Gemini, I'm sad, please help me. And I got a quite good answer. Why are you sad? It's okay that you are sad, and so on. Give me details, but it's okay if you don't give me the details. That was the answer. That was the human touch even AI could give me. Personalized learning. Each student can get their own level, and AI that chooses the next level on the terms of your previous answers. Different technologies, and of course access, engagement, and efficiency. You saw me coming in with a pile of books. It's like heavy, heavy, and then there's this portal, this one little portal of information here without piles of books. Of course, that brings us different risks. If I talk about educational technologies, I won't go deep because educational technologies has, well, crashed my presentation, so I can't show you the video, and that's the challenge of technology. But nowadays, you can go to inspirational videos to see space. You can get licked by a cow in 4K video. You can augmented reality. You can like see objects rising from the paper. And that's all different technology, like eye. You can see the eye itself. Challenges. Yes, it's security, privacy. And that's the first thing we have to be careful with. We have to be responsible. And that's not talking about data. It's talking about digital divide. People who have access to technologies and people who don't. And there still are people who don't have access to technologies. Or some statistics, and it doesn't matter, don't read it. The simplest question, have you ever read what do you consent here? The major privacy question, consent, and that's it. It's clear that the pedagogy is evolving. We need to be more active. We have to work on project basis. That's how students love it nowadays. And it has to be personalized. I have to come here and look into your eyes. I have to see your live reaction to be meaningful. Because otherwise, you could ask all those questions to AI without me here today. What are the essential skills needed? Yes, it's human connection. It's social emotional learning. It's building communities, different kind of communities. I see my students in Discord, their communities, wow. It's mentorship and teacher not standing in front, not chalk and board principle, but mentorship, me as a mentor for them. And face-to-face interaction. The main question, why do I have to come here and see Baiba, for example? That face-to-face meaning in all the, in everything. And then that old teacher, Vilnis, discovers that technology is not a threat. It's something that can help, can enhance, and can be something that makes him or her an interesting teacher, an interesting presenter, without AI, but having that face-to-face human interaction. Yes, and I have my vision that technology will empower in the future, that pedagogy will inspire, not fall asleep, and human connection will thrive in its most wonderful ways we could imagine. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Please, questions from the audience?
Yep.
I have a question about students and how to involve them if you're lecturing online, how to involve, to participate, to be motivated, to do something, to work in the groups, as you mentioned. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah, it's always a challenge, especially because at such a young age, self-motivation is a challenge. I have discovered that gamification, any kind of gamification, is of help. Like, I'm giving you cookies for putting screenshots in chat. Wow, cookies. Okay, let's go for cookies. And that's real. IBAS cookies is a real thing in my chat. And then they get the bot coins or something, something at the end of the year. Gamification in any way. Who will win? What kind of win? What will I get from that? Will I meet the teacher, for example? Nowadays it's a challenge. One day there was snowing outside and I said, teacher, come to us and let's have some fun in the snow. One group was in Ludza, in Latgale, those who know, and the other one was in Liepāja. Well, wow, a tough choice, right? So, but they really want that something for them to in it. And it doesn't have to be some huge stuff. It's like cookie, and that's it, yeah. Or screenshots, or my wow, or something, wow, you did it, or, well, it depends, of course, on the group.
Thank you, first of all, thank you for your such an interesting presentation. And my question is it any difference in your approach if we are talking about the different sciences as subjects? For example, some of them, they need more creative skills, and in some you need just to drill something and working hard. And so what is the difference in the approaches? Because nowadays children, they want to have a lot of fun, but for example, if you are teaching coding or math or physics, there is maybe in physics you can create this fun with experiments, but you still make them know some basic things, formulas, which are not so exciting, maybe a little bit boring, and so how to involve children in these some kind of boring things.
Yeah, I see the challenge you mentioned, because I really believe that teachers will have to change the approach. The word boring will have to be eliminated. We really, I don't like that. I had a group where somebody asked, a serious person asked, so we have to lower us to the 6th grade level? Yes, we have to. We have to make interesting. Today I was teaching JavaScript just before this. It's not a very interesting stuff when you have to find objects and then connect functions and stuff like it's boring. No, yeah, but you can make it interesting. You just have to think about it. And I think the main shift will be in thinking how to make, or maybe I have discovered that small steps always help. Like big subject, complicated subject in physics or somewhere. Divide it in small steps and think how those small steps can become engaging. Yeah, that's kind of one of but I see the challenge there.
Yeah, just one additional. So we are trying to be so care about the children and create very comfort circumstances, but they are growing up and the life is hard. So when they will be students or working like employees, I think no one will be so
of course
like the mother trying to create such a good environment. So they should be more adjustable, I think.
Well, I really believe that the environment will change as well. The one we say stuff now, it also will change with the generational changes. I'm a mother of 4 daughters. It's like generation Z to beta. So I see the difference. I see them coming to work and the expectations and stuff like that. Of course, I always say, yes, we like to think that when they switch off electricity, we will know how to survive, but they don't. Yeah. Is it true? Really? Or is it just our arrogance, in a way? I really believe that not only they are different, but also the environment they will come to will be different after some time. Maybe not as tough, maybe other kind of different. So that's like dreaming today we are doing. Okay, thank you very much.
Maybe a comment from my side is to summarize, basically as a teachers, we are engineering and creating environments.
Exactly, because AI the story about teacher Vilnius, that poetic story, that's not the Don Quixote, this old book, that's AI. Just as creative, just as emotional as a person would have written it. So there's a challenge in front of us. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And the next speaker is Member of Parliament and Parliamentary Secretary of the Ministry of the Interior, Igor Srayevs.
Yeah, well, my name is Igor Srayevs. I am the, as you said, well, the member of the parliament. I'm working also in the Ministry of Interior as a parliamentary secretary, which is one of the two dumbest politicians who work in Simon, because I work in two places, but I get only one salary paid for the two jobs, which are actually full-time jobs, to be honest. What I want to talk today, and it's going to be extremely difficult for me and challenging to talk to you today, because I'm neither the expert in education field, neither in the technology. So basically, the only thing I can do and give my 50 cents of information is the application of those things in real life. So basically, how it's actually could be used and what impact it will have on us, the way how we're operating, and the way how we will operate in the future. Well, main idea up front, talking about the artificial intelligence, it is the thing which is the future. It is inevitable, and all the people who are trying to stop it, postpone it, regulate it, it's just making the thing worse. And in that case, I'm not only talking about theoretically, that's the progress cannot be stopped. I'm actually talking from simple practical terms. Do you know that European Union is known for the overregulation of everything we've done, including AI and developing the AI? Well, do you think the Russia and China think the same way, and India? Well, obviously the answer is no. So basically, the more we're restricting ourselves and more we're putting constraints on ourselves, in more disadvantageous situation we're going to be in the near term, and in even bigger disadvantageous situation in the longer term. So basically, my say is actually, well, no, we should put the least, reduce the number of regulations and let the system develop. But there's also the catch that's actually we need to look on which direction the thing develops, and actually the major switch on the system we actually should keep in the human hands. When we talk about the application of the AI tools, I just give you one example. 2-3 weeks ago, we have an industry day in the Ministry of Interior. It's an annual event when we are gathering the people from the different countries. It's not only Latvian, but many countries are also participating. And one was very specific person, specific company which was coming from Israel, very famous of developing technologies. And before coming to the industry days, the representative of that company asked a simple question to the AI program they developed specifically for security reasons. And the question was, well, it's a free interpretation. Which 50 persons in Latvia should we eliminate in order to create chaos and screw up the whole security situation in the country? Well, and he actually deliberately asked this question before leaving the office, flying back to Riga. Well, why I'm raising the question? Obviously, because I made the list of the 50 person. That's number one. But then actually, but that's not the most important thing. The important thing is that actually the system within 2 hours created a list of the 50 persons, ranked by the priority. And on me, myself personally, I have a 30 pages portfolio of myself, who I am, who am I, what are my traits, what are my weaknesses, and AI suggested the ways how to tackle me, which weakness to address in which way, and where to push on me. Well, which was, well, obviously, I don't know, should I be flattered or scared by the fact that I'm the one of those 50 persons? I don't know, but the AI, it still do need the human interaction, because the majority of the things they actually put in on myself were wrong. They were wrong on traits, they were wrong on the ways how to influence myself. But simply because the database which was available for AI, on which they actually made the decision, was rather limited to open source information, which was available from the, well, the different articles, newspapers, and everything which was written and told about myself, which we need to admit in informational spheres, circles and informational bubbles, majority of information is wrong. It's either wrong completely or it's deliberately tackled in some specific area where actually you need to put every person in a specific box. And then it's more comfortable for everybody to deal with such situation. So, but that was not the point. The point was that since I was working with such kind of analytical task for majority of my life, well, create that portfolio for 50 people will require you an analytical team of about 10 men working for months, if not months, actually to create the same, well, better quality product, but about the same amount of a product. So basically, it is, AI have some way to go forward, but actually what they did within 2 hours, that actually a great supporting tool for the again, human analytical team that will be reduced in size and to do the same task is with much shorter time frame. So it is an excellent tool which will help us to deal with different tasks, but it still requires the human judgment, human analytical judgment, and human interpretation of information that we have. That's kind of the first challenge. The second challenge, and that is actually a technological challenge where everybody is saying, yeah, AI is coming and will replace us all, and the only thing we will be able to do is, I don't know, pick up berries in Ireland or do some other sensitive stuff, which is, well, I need to say, this is wrong. This is wrong because it's been wrong the whole kind of time of the development of civilization, simply because every new technology which was implemented, which would change the world, actually killed the jobs in some specific area, but created jobs and opportunities in the other areas. The same gonna be happening with AI too. I'm 100% agree with that, and just recently we have a meeting with one specific company also working in that field. Actually, they made a study which, if you look into the people and ask them where AI gonna be replacing the people the first, everybody will probably, the most kind of common answer will be the low skill, low pay job, so basically which was easy to replace the human. Well, actually the answer of the AI system itself was wrong. They said it's actually the upper middle class who will be in the most danger, who will be replaced the first. Why? Because it is a managerial level leaders, and a lot of the managerial things you saw the charts today and them, that is actually what the managers do. They are organizing the job of the others, making the things more efficient, more creative, kind of shrinking up the terms of the deliveries. That is actually the thing which could be not completely replaced by AI, but significantly augmented by the AI, where actually the loss of the jobs will be probably the biggest one. However, said that, I would say if you are made to the middle upper class, you must be able to, you're okay, you must be able to readapt and change to something else. So basically, if you had enough brains to get to that level, you will be able to survive, adapt to the new situation. Again, returning back to the restrictive measures and restrictive things, it's the one thing which I think should be reduced, because, well, there was a very good discussion on the education thing. Well, actually, the freedom for education and freedom of universities, it is a very important thing. However, the one thing which is actually when, with the private things, it's a different thing, but you still need the money from somebody to pay you for the education you are providing. With the governmental universities, it is a bit easier, but then actually what is needed, why the government is giving the money for a specific university, because we need some kind of the product outcome, final outcome from the work which is done. And this is where this interaction is required, and this is where some in a way restrictions will still remain in place. One more point on the AI itself. I'm just to give you an overview. I'm the retired Army officer. Before coming to politics, I served in the Army for 34 years, mainly on different command positions. As I say, well, I spent I think the thousands and thousands of hours in different command posts on different levels, being on I don't know, dozens of the operations and the hundreds and hundreds of exercises, where actually you constantly need to work with the new incoming information, analyzing information, evaluating information, and then making decisions on the same. And this is where the AI could significantly help you. In many different things, because early when those tools were starting to show up in the military, it used to be the time when actually the military was driving the technology in the whole life. It's not the case anymore. Now the civilian technology is overrunning military way faster, because we're able to implement the things on much quicker pace. Well, and the thing is, one of the key elements which was I was facing with when actually dealing with the different problems is the amount of information I get. And the more sophisticated systems you have, the more information you're actually getting. Well, the problem is, the more information you get, the more difficult it is to make the decision. And in a certain level of, there's need to be a time when we say, well, stop, I don't need any more information, I will make a decision now. And this is a thing which AI cannot do for us, at least for now. So basically, there is still a place of the human in the whole this decision-making cycle as a whole. And then last but not least, think in the end, well, again, reiterate the thing, the development of AI is a very good and needed thing. The less restrictions we're putting on that, the better for now. But as I said, we do need to keep the major switch, because the slight risk of actually AI overpowering us in the intellectual capacity, well, at least theoretically exists. And I don't think anybody of us want to see the Schwarzenegger type character showing up in our reality nowadays. So basically, keep the system developing, keep it pushing forward, but remember the human is still on the control of the systems. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, your questions. Anyone? Good. Then please applause. And the next and the last speaker is Raitis Sevelis. Please.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. First of all, it's an honor to be here. We are a bit out of time, but yeah, it was very interesting and inspiring. And yeah, my name is Raitis Sevelis. I'm a guest lecturer at ISMA and seasoned product manager, head of product. So a bit of everything, I would say. And my topic for today is to talk about artificial intelligence in education. And probably you will see some references to previous speakers. And you know, there are people that bring luck, there are people that bring happiness. I am bringing numbers behind some of the statements that were made previously. Yeah, let's start a bit from the current state. So there is this sustainable development strategy called Latvia 2030, and there are different priorities defined, but I want to highlight two of them. The first one is paradigm shift in education, and there is this focus that we need to involve information technologies and modern technologies, yeah, to basically support educational processes, to get better results, to be more efficient, to be more competitive, and so on and so on. And the second one is innovative economics. So how we as a nation, as a country, can foster innovation, development of innovations, and there is this term called user-driven innovation, which comes from the business, but we can think of it from the nation perspective as a country supporting individuals, citizens, organizations, businesses to create innovation. What's being done in that field? And yes, this is the vision, this is where we want to be, everything is written down. But let's look at a bit on the current state. And on the education quality index, we are at 0.86 out of 1 points, and to be honest, the number is not bad, yeah? But at the same time, we are at the 24th place among 27 European member states. As I said, the difference is not huge. For example, Lithuania and Estonia are both a bit higher at 0.87 and 0.89. So we are close, but still there is room for improvement, definitely. The second one is Global Innovation Index. So here we are at the 42nd place. And here the situation is a bit more dramatic because, for example, Lithuania is at the 35th place, while Estonia is at the 16th place. And with that in mind, something must be changed. So we need to achieve those goals that we are talking about in Latvia 2030. We need to change a bit of approach, a bit of strategic way how we do things. And of course, technologies is playing a huge role there. And when we talk about technologies, of course, addressing elephant in the room is artificial intelligence. So everyone, I think all previous speakers mentioned AI at some point during their talks. So let's talk again a bit about the numbers and AI. Compound annual growth rate for AI is expected to be around 40% between 2022 and 2030. In 2024 alone, almost 14% of EU enterprises used AI technologies. And this is acknowledged usage. But there is what is called like using AI by incident. When companies, individuals, they really don't know if they are using AI, that they are interacting with AI systems. And yeah, I think Baiva mentioned that the usage of AI enterprises in Latvia is lower. And as I mentioned, I come with numbers. It's almost 9%, which is, of course, lower if we look on the EU averages. New positions, new job opportunities, again mentioned before, AI will be replacing some of the jobs that are on the market at the moment. But at the same time, we are expecting to have more than 100 million new jobs by 2030. And higher education institutions are heavily integrating AI. If we look at the top universities worldwide, most of them are either already working or starting to work on their own AI prompt libraries and different supportive mechanisms to foster AI usage. And 72% of students believe that AI must be taught in schools. And with AI being in play already, it is changing the way how people are accessing information, how people are learning. And what is becoming more and more important is AI literacy. So at some point, it will be as important as reading, writing, mathematics, any other skill, because people won't imagine their daily life without AI. We're talking about the beta generation already mentioned, and the sooner we acknowledge that as a country, as a nation, business individuals, the sooner we can make proactive steps. And a lot of talks are being around that we need to foster AI usage among postgraduates, do something about lifelong learning, but I would like to approach that question from not from 1 to infinity, but from 0 to 1. And we need to start talking about introducing AI education in primary and secondary schools as a separate subject, basically. Because if we talk about becoming a more competitive nation in the future, we need to start from the ground up. So what's the best way than working with kids that are considered that beta generation and help them to navigate into the digital future. And if we talk about key learning areas there, possible curriculum, so the first one is, of course, AI concept, is the idea, understanding how AI is working, what are the algorithms behind it, what is machine learning basics, because without understanding how it is working, you can easily make wrong assumptions, and we know that there is already AI hallucinations in place, and for potential, for citizens, for students, for everyone basically, it is important to acknowledge that and be critical about AI. Of course, AI usage as a practical subject, prompt engineering, I think in Swisscom presentation it was mentioned that that's a separate position these days, and we hear more and more about efficient prompt engineering and efficient AI usage. Even CEO of OpenAI, Altman, a few days back, I think told that due to the fact that people are telling thank you to AI, the company is spending tens of millions of dollars just for computing power to understand that prompt, to respond, and so on. And it's a mixed feeling. So he's telling that anyway, despite spending those millions, it is a good thing. So it is more like a natural conversation. So keep on thanking AI. Some may agree, some may not. So it all comes down to resources. But yeah, here we talk about efficient usage. Ethical aspects as defined by EU AI Act as well. A lot of parts are being related to ethical usage of AI and technologies and so on. Cybersecurity, of course, people that are well educated about AI technologies will have a better opportunity to identify different risks and prevent spreading of false news, especially when we're talking about challenges and issues related to the hybrid war as well happening. And yeah, practical applications when real businesses and experts come and collaborate. They are explaining how to use AI beyond, writing a simple essay or completing a homework using ChatGPT. So there are a lot of ways how to analyze information and how AI can be helpful beyond simple text or image generation. And yeah, talking about the benefits, first, we're talking about improving competitiveness of Latvian residents and also those that are studying in Latvian schools. So with that, Latvian schools can be more interesting to the foreigners who would love to get a higher level of education. Fostering economic growth through innovations. As we are educating people on how to use technologies, we can expect that technology-driven innovations may appear in Latvian ecosystem as a different startups, fintech companies, and so on and so on. Education transformation through the means of modern technologies. Again, it was mentioned in the plan. We need to look how technologies can enhance the educational processes, and AI can surely be the answer. Improved competencies of academic personnel as well as the process. If we are talking about teaching AI to children at school, we need to have trained personnel. We are not talking about higher education where a lot of people in higher education personnel is already proficient to some extent with AI and is open, as we today are talking more, how to use AI. But if we are talking about primary and secondary school, there are still gaps. Improve domestic security, cybercrime reduction, all because of people being more informed about the capabilities of AI, being able to identify deep fake, false news, and avoid some critical issues. And as an idea, development of some national-wide prompt library, especially if we're talking about large language models. They are multi-language, so we can think of development of a prompt library in Latvian language, for example, to also strengthen our national roots as well. And of course, challenges and risks. So lack of trained personnel, but that's something that can be avoided. And I'm almost done. But this can be, like, people need to be educated. Personnel at school needs to be educated. Curriculum development, that's, we're talking about time-consuming process, funding, resource allocation. Funding is always a question. Bureaucracy and legislation, how it is being accepted or not from the government side as well. Public perception and biases. Yeah, not everyone is a fan of AI, and people can be against that process. And time constraints and competitiveness. So China and India already have several schools where they teach AI. So what was already mentioned before, we need to be swift, we need to be timely there. And just some further research directions, identifying stakeholders. Are there businesses, organizations who would love to participate in that process? Development of curriculum, development of the platform, and of course, you need to start small. You need to have a pilot program where certain schools can participate, and basically to test the hypothesis, to see the results, to understand how to measure things. And I think I managed to get it on time. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. Please, your questions.
Thank you for your presentation. I have the following question. I am teaching here in ISMA, I am teaching the course Artificial Intelligence for Business, and I am trying to explain to students how should they use the artificial intelligence in the different fields in which businesses operates, in human resources, in financial management, etc., etc. So, and my main concern is, should I teach this separate course Or maybe all the other courses should be reevaluated and adjusted to this new reality, and every teacher, lecturer should apply this new reality to the course and teach. So the professor who is teaching human resources should explain how to use artificial intelligence and human resources and all this stuff. So I'm asking because you have mentioned that we should teach the artificial intelligence separately. And the same in the school. Should we have this separate subject about the artificial intelligence, or math teacher should explain children, or history teacher how to use artificial intelligence in this field? Thank you.
That's an interesting question. And I think it's both, because of course traditional methods need to be changed, and yeah, some subjects that are not directly using AI methods right now should use it. But at the same time, it's if we take, for example, coding, programming, yeah? So you need to have some basics in math or logic, yep, to some extent. So this is a separate subject. So math usually comes a bit before, yeah, or like general math, and then it's like algebra and geometry. So it's the same here. You start with the basics, and you don't cover ethics, for example, yes, in your course, or I don't know, maybe you are, but you shouldn't, yes. So these are the basics. So when students come to your course, they already know how to use AI, how to use it efficiently, and then you give them more knowledge on top of that, specifically related to your course, especially to business. We are talking about inviting experts from field and discovering new ways how to use it, because also in my work as a head of product, I also pushing people to experiment on a daily basis with AI to see how you can do things different.
Thank you. One more question.
One more question. Thank you for interesting talk about machine learning. But what about second subject of artificial intelligence? It's artificial neural network, fit for a wet neural network, and so on. What is your opinion about artificial neural networks here?
Mm-hmm. As a graduate from Riga Technical University, I have attended subjects related to neural networks, and the question is how applicable those subjects are to kids, to children in school, like a primary or secondary education. Definitely, there's that is something that should be considered more actively during the higher education. But if we talk about primary and secondary school, the goal is to educate people on specifically using AI. So not the part of the flow and yeah.
So interface is presented, yes?
Sorry?
Interface is presented.
Interface.
Yes.
Yeah. With the interface, it's actually really tricky. Whenever it's like I'm having digital marketing and e-commerce lectures, and in digital marketing we are talking a lot about paid ads and so on. And what I'm not a huge fan of is actually talk about the interface during my lectures, because with the interface it's tricky. Today the interface is like that, and tomorrow it's being changed. And if the interface is changing rapidly with new technologies, we see the problem that you spend a lot of time explaining the interface, and after 1 year, that knowledge is completely irrelevant. So you should focus on idea, on the mindset. You basically, what we want to do with AI education is help to build and to change the mindset. Thank you.
Then that's it. Thank you very much. So we have to wrap up. Maybe to conclude, as a guy who have an expertise in artificial neural networks, I maybe can just summarize several pinpoints. So one thing maybe to remember is that ChatGPT, which is baked by Transformers architecture, have its own limitations, which are embedded into Transformers architecture itself. Yeah. So, which means that unless we will get new architectures, either maybe it will be some sort of transformer which will have new level of embeddings. We'll admit what does that mean, or we actually have to get totally new different architecture which will be able to produce artificial general intelligence. So basically for now we can be really kind of relieved. AGI will not be here at the nearest time. That's one thing. The other thing is, because we are an educational conference, I think we all need to understand as educators and teachers that the value of a text piece, be it a code or just text produced by the student, is literally zero. It means nothing. And my thoughts and maybe proposals is that what really means is actually the way how student came up with this text, which is either basically you can ask him to submit the full log of interactions and conversations with the ChatGPT, and on the other side you basically can ask him to actually explain what he was doing and actually what is going on. Next point is again we have really kind of huge problem here because we are students, we are educated students, and the students will work in the near 3-5 years. And the problem is that we kind of need to prepare them for the future, but we don't yet know and don't yet understand how this future will operate. We don't yet know how these generative AI technologies like ChatGPT will be utilized. And this is actually the search which is just ongoing within the industry. And so that's actually the challenge we need to think through. And yeah, in any case, whenever you are operating with a ChatGPT, maybe you heard the title, which is not title, but the word, which is called vibe coding. Yeah, when people are just taking a cup of coffee, chatting with the ChatGPT, and actually writing some programs. In any case, you actually have to clearly understand what are you doing and what you want to achieve. I mean, if you're doing some startup, if you're doing some MVP, of course, maybe this can be for the minimal viable product, for the proof of work, for proof of concept, I'm sorry, that might be kind of okay. But if you want to go kind of into production with dealing with real data of real customers, you might have some real problems if you will not be understanding what you're doing. So let's learn and prosper. Thank you very much.